It's me, Pat, again for the last class. This is all about keeping your goats healthy and protected. If you've got good housing and good fencing, you've got them well fed and their minerals are available, you've done just about everything you can do. There are a few smaller things to think about, and that's what this whole section's about. There are official goat hoof trimming tools you can get. Don't bother, okay? They're meant to deal with the hooves the size of a Nubian or an Alpine. They're very big, wedge-shaped blades, too big to get really effectively underneath the fold over of a goat hoof. So I use what we used to call the orange-handled wonder shears. They're rose pruning clippers. They have a long, narrow point that allows you to get under that fold. You want to trim away the extra space. You can get a rasp, which actually is kind of like a wood plane that you would use. The old-fashioned days, we actually used hand planers to shave off pieces of wood. You would actually be shaving off the layers of the hoof. That's another possibility. I've used a Dremel tool, a little sanding barrel on a Dremel tool. And there are now electric hoof shaving shears, which if you've got a large herd, it's worth the $200 that they cost. For what you've got, just get the rose pruning shears. Okay. We mainly think about the danger of the wild animals, but not necessarily our neighbor's Maltese or our neighbor's Scottish Terrier. Those are dogs that, especially terriers, that were meant to hunt to ground. They're very intense. Earlier we were talking about CAE and CL and those things. If your animals stay home and other goats, then you don't have to worry about biosecurity. But if you've got your goats to do a little showing, you've got them as a 4-H project, and maybe they're going to be a market wether, or maybe they're going to wind up being a 4-H dairy doe project. There's some things you need to know about regarding biosecurity. When you go to a show, what I like to do is bring my own shavings and actually put a barrier down between the ground of the fairgrounds and where my goats are going to be staying. If I'm on concrete, then I'll bleach it down, or I'll use alcohol or some other disinfectant and not worry about that other layer. But if I'm on dirt, then I'll put a tarp down. I bring my own sides. If I have to use pens from a fairground, then I'll wash those down. Or I'll put a tarp up on the inside of that too. When I have my fencing, my goats are in this area, I bother to rent out the space on either side, or I set up my pens away from someplace else so that my goats can't share water, can't share food, can't nibble faces, can't catch diseases from other goats. Remember, those diseases are not easy to get rid of if you can get rid of them at all. So let's keep your animals healthy, okay? When you go into the show ring, always, and this is a tricky thing, but always try to give yourself 6 to 12 inches between the goat behind or in front of you. That may mean you have to turn around and ask the person behind you to keep their goat back. Because the goats get curious, they want to reach forward, and they may have a little bit of inactive sore mouth on their nose, and next thing you know, sore mouth is working its way through the next thing you know, sore mouth is working its way in through the back end of your goat. So keep space between your goats. It's a good idea, if you can do it, to not encourage people to pet your goats, because they may have gone to somebody else's pen that wasn't as careful. Their goats may have an inactive case of a disease. They come over, they pet your goats, and your goats will catch it. It's part of the problem with our fair system. Hi, this is Pippi, and she's my livestock guardian dog. Pippi's been with us for about 7 years. It's hard to believe, but it's been that long. And she's here to keep the herd safe and to keep me loved. So if you're thinking about predator control, livestock guardian dogs are a really good option. But the thing with Pippi is she barks a lot. So if you live in a suburban area, maybe a barking dog is not what you want. However, if you're looking for a dog that's going to love you and your herd, She's a Great Pyrenees and Anatolian Shepherd cross, and there are a lot of different breeds. But she's the what we've got. We've got a new puppy coming soon because the older ones actually teach the younger ones how to do the job. So, thinking about livestock guardian dogs, this is Pippi. Keep her in mind. You can't have her though, she's ours. Shepherds, and Pippi is part Anatolian Shepherd, part Great Pyrenees. The Anatolian's a little bit more of a homebody, a little less gregarious, because Great Pyrenees are really gregarious. But you have to be aware that they can be a little tougher. They're not going to warm up to people as well. They can be more of a liability in a suburban area. I really wouldn't suggest you get a livestock guardian dog, but some people are really insistent about it. Then we get to the Anatolian Akbash. That is not a dog for somebody to have that is not familiar with working with livestock guardian dogs. So don't even think about an Akbash. Maremas are a little bit quieter. They also bark, but they tend to bark more when there's a reason rather than just as a sound off. And then there's the Karakachan. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. That's a Bulgarian herding dog, and they work in teams. They are quieter, but they're very rare, so you're going to pay a price for them. If you were going to do a livestock guardian dog, you're going to need to figure to pay about $600 or more. You cannot go to a pet store or to a Great Pyrenees breeder or to a Pure Rescue and say, I want to get myself a livestock guardian dog. Do you have any? A lot of breeders don't. If they're in it for the money and not for the breed, they're not going to want their precious Great Pyrenees getting all matted out in the dirt. The Great Pyrenees may be very healthy and very happy, but that's not what show dogs are bred for. So you need to hunt down somebody who's got livestock guardian dogs in training. Don't trust your dogs and the goats together alone for a couple of years. Puppies are puppies. LGDs are big puppies. So Pippi actually lives at night in the barn, locked up, where she can still bark, but it's somewhat muffled. And my neighbors, because I live in a rural area, but I still have neighbors, they appreciate if she sounds off that means there might be a problem, but she's not barking under their window, which she used to do when she was a little one. Okay? So when she gets her companion dog, they will probably be sleeping in that area, but the boy, as he gets older, may actually, if he stays with the herd better, will be outside where he can actually keep better track. That depends upon the animal. This new puppy is more Great Pyrenees, less Anatolian, so my guess is he's probably going to be locked up with Pip. All right? If you do have a livestock guardian dog, if you insist on having one, socialize them well, but don't expect them to be pets. They can't guard the herd if they're in your house. Pippi would much rather be with me than with the goats, which doesn't make her the best livestock guardian dog in the world. But she does make a perimeter bark. She does her dawn patrol. She is foreboding when somebody comes up and sees a 160-pound dog. She will make enough noise to keep the bear and the fisher away. But in a confrontation, I have seen her get tough. I would anticipate this next dog will be tougher. Okay? So, that's keeping your animal safe. It's not that difficult. But just because you've got some goats in the backyard doesn't make you a farmer. It just makes you a pet owner, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you don't have to gear up to the full level of somebody who's going to be breeding. That's what the next class is about. So, I hope that all this has been helpful. Check out the Google Hangout when I get it set up, which should be by the end of today. And keep in touch with me at farm@haimsaxel.com or give me a call at 978-827-1305. Cute isn't good enough as far as I'm concerned, but it's an awful good start. Have fun. Bye.